And hello. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to another broadcast. This is WWG1WGA.LOVE, where we go one, we go all.love. That's the domain, and this is the front lines, where we actually discuss what is actually happening in the defeat of the cabal, what's going on with Trump and the whole movement with Q, and there's so many things that are going on. I'm going to try and do a little bit of a recap, and then we will get to some Serial Brain 2. I know everyone's so excited. So the Serial Brain 2 has been very focused recently on the UK visit, because I think it's very pivotal to understand that we're really looking at sovereignty. And we've covered that a lot, discussing sovereignty and what it actually means. I described the abundance economic system that I've been explaining to you, which is basically reversing the flow, recognizing the value in each individual man, woman, and child, and that whenever we do anything, that we should be rewarded. And when we want to get into a system of abundance like that, we have a flow coming to us that we can then direct to our purposes. Now, in describing this system that I did yesterday, I had several meetings in Manila, and one of them was really discussing this with someone who's been interfacing with some of the people in Kingdom of Manna, and I went through that as well. But in explaining this abundance-based system, he got it right away, and how it would benefit every individual and how it would work. I went into some great detail. I really don't. I haven't really outlined like the fine details. I give some broad strokes, but on how this actually can function within an economy and things like that. So anyway, so this is a place where we can start to build these type of abundance-based systems, and we can figure out what that looks like and do things and think different. Thanks, Thomas. Think different. I really like that concept of thinking different. Now, some people will say, we don't need money. Well, I think that in a very very futuristic look out into the Star Trek of the United Federation of Planets out in the way distant future, and there'll be some societies out there like the Ferengi that are only into the capitalism and profit. But we're not there. We're so much steeped in it, we can't just flip it off as a switch. People wouldn't know how to do it, right? So we have to build that system over time, and it will become natural, especially when the flow of everything that you do is being rewarded. You know, the more you do, the more you'll get rewarded. Different things that you do, the inventions and things that you come up with will end up creating a scenario where there's an abundance. But you are also not just receiving abundance, but you're distributing abundance, right? So, and that would be quite beneficial. So, for example, where you work, you would be paying them to work there. Wouldn't you pay for a good job then? Goes, well, who's going to pay to work at McDonald's? Well, there'll be some people that want to pay to work at McDonald's. There will be. Don't worry about that. They will pop up. Someone has to make the hamburgers, right? And if it comes down to where we have to pay to build robots to do it, oh well, that's what we do. Don't worry about it. We figure it out along the way. All right. So let me kind of move around here to a couple of different topics. One, now we are going to be discussing Trump and his trip to the UK and what it means. It's really about sovereignty and getting our independence for real. Really, we'll get our true independence. And I pointed out that he made a trip and went to Japan and picked up a friend, so arm in arm, and he got all of his weaponry lined up. He got William Barr ready with declassification abilities, and he had everything poised to declass and make Britain look really bad. And he went there for a meeting, winning. So he's now in that position of winning. So we have a lot of things that have led up to this time, right? And there's been the positioning also included defeating the deep state in several areas. So the cabal had puppet states, North Korea, Iran, and they had their boogeymen, right? And these were the ones that were going to start the war. Syria, right? Yeah. So anything where they wanted to basically push the agenda to basically oust a leader or to make an agenda, the upsetting all of the Middle East, causing massive migration of people into Europe, to destabilize all of Europe. But we have this national system, national spirit coming about and affecting the systems. Whether it's in France or even Italy, Germany, England with Brexit, all of these things are actually giving a new life to these countries. And now Trump, as I said, he went to the UK and now positioned himself to accept, make a deal. He's a deal maker, and it's on the grand scale, really getting sovereignty out of it. But what else? What we're seeing, though, in the news with what's happened in Iran, with these now a missile strike against a drone, a big drone. I've heard numbers from $115 million drone to $180 million drone. That's quite a drone, right? And it was shot down by a missile, and there's proof of that, and they know where it came from, and it was a missile coming from Iranian territory. But what else we saw was we covered was that the C_A black site in Iran was taken out. And so now right after that, now we have a missile going off. So there literally is this shooting war that's happening But who are the bad guys? They're the deep state in those countries. It's not the country. It's not even the religious leader of the Ayatollah, right? That's there. It's the deep state. When they made this nuclear deal, Obama and Biden, they made a nuclear deal, gave them 1.7 billion in cash. It was 1.5 billion in cash, and plus 150 billion on top of that, all on the table. The Ayatollah of Iran did not agree with that agreement. It was their deep state that agreed with it. And what were they doing? They were creating a scenario for war. Now they saw it all coming apart, and now Iran is now going to also be following the model of North Korea. And we may see the Ayatollah make a deal with Trump, whatever that looks like, and so now we see this all lining up, all for the defeat of the cabal on so many fronts. There's even talk of global economic reset. Interesting term, right? Global economic reset. There is the removal of the central banking system. So all across the board, we're having success, right? And though it is everyone wants it right now, it does take time, and that's what we're witnessing. We're witnessing that systematic dismantling of the deep state, removing of their assets, removing of their deep state puppets, removal of their power structures, and replacing it. The thing is, they can't operate in the light. So as soon as you shine the light on them and say, this is the truth, all they can do is fire back and say something that is not. But the evidence is pointing against them. So. And M. Carlson is asking, why is Dan going on with this? Well, because I want to talk about this. You're welcome to come on and talk with me. I'll put the link in the wwg1wga.love Telegram group, and you're welcome to come on. And you can discuss what you want to talk about. You don't want to hear what I'm talking about on this topic? Just join me and let me know what you want to talk about. But all right, let's move it on to Serial Brain 2, and then we'll wrap this up about why I'm talking about these different pieces of the puzzle. And this is basically covering one of these pieces. So here we go. Let me line it up.
We stared down the unholy alliance of lobbyists and donors and special interests who made a living bleeding our country dry. That's what we've done. As I said, what a wonderful, beautiful day at my inauguration. We did not merely transfer power from one party to another, but we transferred power back to you, the proud citizens of the United States of America. I want to introduce you.
Let's move forward a little bit.
In part two, we began unfolding the many tweets that were sent during the UK visit and finished off with Theresa May and the reasons she had to go. We now enter the final part of this amazing journey. Tweet number 6. Now that you've delivered on the Prime Minister, GCHQ, and Steele, we can try to heal the wounds. Rethinking the UK-US diplomatic relations. On the far left, that retweet at 17:07:17. We have tonight the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall attended a dinner in London hosted by the President and the First Lady on the second day of the #US State visit. Those capital letters add up to 409. Who knew that I would become who I am today equals 409. You have Q 1707. When did No Name travel to the UK? Q, very interesting. No Name gone. What a beautiful red dress. Image size equals 1200 by 799. It's okay. Come over, let's talk about this and make each other as uncomfortable as possible equals 799. Decoded message. The UK authorities conspired with Obama and his administration to sabotage the US 2016 elections without ever imagining Trump could win. Confirmed here. Q2086. They never thought she would lose. This led both sides to make irreparable mistakes. Internally, it was treason and it's being fixed with No Name being the first to pay. Externally, it damaged the diplomatic relations between the two countries, which had to be rethought and redesigned anyway.
I just want to point out that, remember, this is Trump's second trip in a very short period to England. And the first trip, he met with the Queen. You even remember when there's interesting, funny scenes like Trump walking ahead of the Queen, and couldn't find her. She was following behind. She was trying to move along to his side. But there was some more tension at that time that was different, right? This was completely a different trip, right? And so I think that he was laying down what he was going to, what he wants to do, and what was the deal that he wants to make that last trip. This trip was when everything got concluded, and he brought all the power to bear to make it happen. Let's continue.
Yeah. Tweet number 7. The spoils of war. Now comes the pain. Notice this tweet. President real Donald Trump and the First Lady welcomed the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall as they arrived at Winfield House for the return banquet. This was posted by Ambassador Johnson. Retweeted at 17:09:21. Capital letters equal 307 because they are not in control equals 307, and pleased to give you the kingdom equals 307. We have Q 1709. Something big is about to drop. Q. Decoded message. They lost control. They have to give us the keys to the kingdom. Spoils of war coming our way. Do you want to know what the spoils of war are? I will show you. Tweet 8, 9, and 10. These 3 tweets are a subriddle. The clues are 3 minutes, 33-second clip, accessory, singer, and together we win. Can you solve? Notice on the far left, we have crying Chuck Schumer, loud, here, bluffing, creep, bluff. Down below, we have necklace, accessory for Q1904. We have a washed up psycho at Bette Midler from President Donald Trump. We have Q1930, listen close, 3 minutes, 33-second clip. Below we have Chucky Nancy's accessory. We have Bette Midler, psycho singer. We have U.S. state visit by President Donald Trump tweeted, and Q2441, together we win. Peruvian coffee. For those who solved it through singer Jane Birkin and Melania's Hermes Birkin bag. Look, accessory plus singer equals Birkin. Notice that the First Lady is holding an Hermes Crocodile Birkin accessory. How about the gloves? Jane Birkin, singer. In 2015, Birkin wrote a public letter to Hermes requesting her name be removed from the bag, stating she wanted the company to debaptize the Birkin Croco until better practices in line with international norms can be put in place, referring to the cruel methods used to acquire the skins for the bags. Hermes announced soon afterwards that it had satisfied Birkin with new reassurances on this. How about the 3-minute, 33-second clip? It's right here. For copyright reasons, we won't show that video, but I'll show you a couple of pictures here. The qualities that you look for in a vintage bag come down to rarity, and then they have condition. There are 3 models in particular that stand out as the most important and collectible. The Birkin, the Kelly, and the Constance are known as the Holy Trinity. Hermes was founded in 1837 by Terry Hermes as a harness workshop, and it changed. Now, what does Melania mean with this Croco bag and the gloves? To solve this, we need to go back to her trip to Africa. Do you remember when the fake news attacked her on her outfit? Melania's trip to Africa and the fake news. We have these headlines. Melania Trump's latest white hat evokes colonialist comparison. Colonialism? Very interesting. Then we have Melania Trump's colonialist outfit during Africa trip has Twitter users gagging. Fox had the backlash to Melania Trump's safari outfit explained. Well, Melania knew exactly what she was doing. When she landed in Commonwealth Ghana, look how she attacked London and the 3-city empire, starting with London and the Commonwealth. Far left, look at that dress as she's exiting the plane. We have City of London flag in the middle. October 2nd, 2018, arrival in Accra, Ghana. First stop of Melania's trip to Africa. Notice on the far right, 2 photos on the top right and bottom right wearing that same dress. Then she gave an interview to ABC with a swamp in the background. Right there and then, the crocodile bag she would hold when meeting UK Prime Minister May started to be confection. We have swamp, pith helmet, Giza, and smooth criminal. Can you solve? Notice the Croco Birkin bag connected to Crocodile King Swamp, which is connected to October 2018 ABC interview. See the swamp? Then on the bottom left, October 2018 visit to Giza. See the pyramids? Notice the similarity in Q587. And then it's connected to Michael Jackson, SC, or Smooth Criminal. If you remember that in image 19, we saw Hermes, pronounced correctly, Hermes, not Hermes, complied with Birkin's request not to use cruel methods to remove the skin from crocodiles. Then you'll see the gloves and the Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal outfit represent how the president and the first lady smoothly took control of the Commonwealth swamp without leaving any fingerprints.
Just a thought I had wanted to point out: the red shoes that are commonly discussed and shown, even the Pope wearing red shoes. These are supposed to be the skins, right? And they're red because of blood, right? And so everyone that are showing these red shoes are, part of this club, this red shoe club. And they'll discuss a little bit more about that and saying what does it mean. But a lot of people are saying it is actually from humans.
Are you tired of winning yet? Let's dance and celebrate. Now question. Why did Melania wear the Smooth Criminal outfit with the Giza pyramids in the background? Let's dance first. Big load of Caribbean coffee for those who noticed that the Christie's 3-minute, 33-second clip mentioned the Holy Trinity. We are in triangle territory, and here is the decode. Hermes reveals the secret of the Holy Trinity. Founded in 1766, Christie's offers premier auctions and private sales of the finest art, antiques and interiors, jewelry and watches, wine and more. This connects to hammer. Spying is a key component of the Antichrist agenda, which is the 666. Notice to the right we have Kelly, Constance, and Birkin persons. Kelly plus Constance plus Birkin equals 222. Notice 222 is on every corner of the triangle, again, which equals 666. We have the peace treaty signed in 1783. Notice in the name of the most holy and undivided Trinity, which is connected to Hermes, created in 1837. Coincidence? We went full circle. Thank you, Hermes. The Holy Trinity that was mentioned in 1783 peace treaty was actually nothing more than the worship of the beast inherited from ancient Egyptian religions and using spying as its main way of ruling. Yes, this Holy Trinity, translated into the three-city empire, is the occult hand through which the cabal owns and controls kings, their kingdoms, their people, and their possessions. You now know why the maestro tweeted the Prince of Wales and happily accepted to be mocked yet again by the clueless, low IQ fake news. You know he got the extra H from Hermes, right? What is that whale? Have you read Herman Melville's Moby Dick? Did you decipher it? Are you familiar with the Philistines' Dagon from the Bible? Look, the Prince of Wales with an H, the Pope's meter, and idolatry. We have the tweet from President Trump, Prince of Wales with the H. Notice that it's now the rulers of the Philistines assembled to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their god, and to celebrate, saying, quote, "Our God has delivered Samson, our enemy, into our hands," unquote. Judges 16, verse 23. Also, the Quran, it says, "And ask them about the town that was by the sea when they transgressed the Sabbath, when their fish came to them openly on their Sabbath day." Notice on the bottom left, we have whale, Holy See, Vatican City, State. We have the Catholic Pope with meter. Then we have the Dagon priest with fish, hat, apparel. Notice the connection. And then on the far right, Dagon fish divinity. Pretty amazing connections there. As you can see, the Vatican follows the ancient religion instructed by their Babylonian masters and consisting of worshiping animal spirits, especially the maritime ones. Welcome to the beast Antichrist agenda with a zest of Holy Trinity. This is the secret reason behind the omnipresence of admiralty law in our society, and this is how all the religions they control are zoologically hierarchized.
Another point is when you're talking about Dagon, that is also Enki. At least if I remember correctly, it's the same. And Enki is also represented as the coming from the oceans, and always is sometimes looking like he's fish, like carrying like a fish suit, like it goes over his head and down his back, but he has legs and arms, but the tail goes out from the fish continues. So it's always a very strange image, but always representing him from the sea, right? I never really picked out that be a reason why we have overreaching monarchy law, but it makes sense here. I always thought that the monarchy law was more about because it was the fighting between the different royal houses, and they were then fighting at sea at war, and then they would legalize the booty that was collected, and when you took over another ship, and they would literally split between the pirate or the merchant ship that was there to collect these items from the other ship, and then it was that now split with the king. And I believe it was actually even at a 50-50 basis, if I remember. But that's a long time ago. I might be wrong about that. But anyway, this connection to the sea, I think, is very important, and and how this all came from Trump's comment of the Prince of Wales with an H, right, and then the Hermes bag that Milana was carrying. Amazing.
You did not know the Vatican had Babylonian masters they feared. It's right here in Q547. The Babylonian masters, ultimate beneficiaries. Around 586 BCE, the first temple was destroyed and many Jews were exiled to Babylon. Many among the priests abandoned Moses' teachings and embraced Satanism and magic. These teachings were then disseminated in infiltrated religions. We have Q547, notice that kiss from the Pope to you-know-who. Below that, we have the European Parliament, Strasbourg, France. Looks just like the painting of the Tower of Babel. On the top right, we have the network and the esquires wearing purple. Look at the connection. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries.
Abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. Amazing, right? But who is that? I actually don't know who he's kissing the hand of. If someone knows in the chat room, please let me know. Send it, or you can also message me in Telegram.
Galatians 17:4. The image in Q547 is one of the most explosive revelations in the Q board. It's the door to a complete understanding of the Antichrist agenda and to the identification of the real tyrants and owners hiding behind kings and dogma and who, with Lucifer's help, have enslaved mankind for centuries. The President of the United States attacked the very foundation of their ternary structure and is now depriving them from the wealth and power they have accumulated over the years through lying to us, stealing from us, and deceiving us. Now you have the palette to enjoy the following drop posted a year ago and how it relates to Prime Minister May's resignation announced in May. Q997, Pope will be having a terrible May. Are you now ready to go through the London spoils of war symbolized in the last video of this amazing riddle? Enjoy. The keys to the kingdom. USSB equals 81. Born again equals 81. That tweet, hashtag US State Visit. Hey, what's up? The next tweet. Good, I want the whole thing, all the way to the top. The next tweet, former Prime Minister Churchill, you now have two things in common. And then the tweet again in that video, okay. You know, six. You guys know your covert ownership of America is over, right? Time for a trade deal, a real one. Ready? Spying on America is over. Wow. This is exactly what I meant 27 months ago about the Trump Tower in the tweet below. Check Q997. Look at that tweet. Terrible. Just found out that the Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Let's continue. So this is where you were spying on me in my campaign. I see. Hussein also used the Situation Room for live streaming sessions when spying on me. Look at that video tweet right there. The war cabinet. Next, wow, all this work and you have found nothing. I told you from the get-go, no collusion, no obstruction. Look at those pictures below. Just evil right there. Dark to light. Notice the 42nd mark. Power out of the house. Last victories. Then from 41 to 44 seconds. Flag not in the wind. Less freedom. Sabotage. America waiting. And then at the 45-second mark, power renewed. 45-second plus, photo flash, dark to light. Summary. Video length is 50 seconds. Defeated equals 50. Those who try to destroy America, weaken our military, and export our wealth are now defeated. Dark to light. Those pictures, last victories, the 40th president, we had sabotage from 41st to the 44th, and then enlightenment. President of the United States, number 45. At this stage, what could be the last outstanding question? Yes, perhaps you are wondering on which ground I translated USSB equals 81 to born again equals 81 in image 14 and image 26. Well, the UK visit ended on June 6, 2019. The very next day, it was Vice President Mike Pence's birthday, and the Maestro tweeted about it. Value for Mike Pence? Yes, it's 81. Born again? Isn't it what a birthday celebration is all about? The timestamp pulls Q944, where Q attempted a pullback last year because he felt we were not ready to receive a certain type of information about the New World Order. Do you see why the maestro chose a picture with Air Force One? Yes, he's talking about our spiritual journey. If you are reading these lines today and are resonating with them, with all the things I have been sharing with you about the battlefield, take a look back and consider the huge distance covered. Q, as you can see, we are now ready. We have grown. We are ready to be born again with the knowledge we have and the freedom that comes with it. The maestro knows. He coded it in the vertical image size. A new chapter of the story of your life has just begun, equals 546. Q918. Wait until you learn who has been talking to you here. Q.
Yes. Who has been talking to us here? Was it JFK Jr.? Is it Baron Trump? That was my own theory. I said being a boy genius, right? Something along those lines. But we're now set, and we have a new birthday, right? I wonder what June 6th, June 7th, because you're coming off the plane. This is the new birthday, and then we have the Independence Day coming up July 4th. Just a couple weeks, but a month after this has happened. So very interesting that we are in this position and ready to have a party. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and post the link for people to come on, and we'll see if we have our friend that made a suggestion. I'll post it here too, just in case it comes up. Let's see if it works. It may not, but I'll go ahead and post it in the Telegram group. All right, so it's posted there. So again, if anyone would like to come in, the information for joining the Telegram group is down below in the description. If you want to go ahead and look into that, you're welcome to do that. Also, I'm going to share my screen about some other things that are down below in the descriptions. So it looks like someone is coming online. So let me just show something here very quickly before we continue in the conversation. Oh, hi, Alan. I see who it is now.
Hello, Dan.
So here, this is the Teespring. This is where you can actually pick up gear, mugs, shirts, and everything else that have logos and things like that on it. There's actually several different items. Let's see if I can get to the store. I haven't actually accessed it this way. Here.
Oh, new experiences. I love it.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and do it. Anyway, if you'd like to get other items, they're also down below. So please go ahead and check that out if you're interested in getting some things. I got Dank live on the mugs. Anything else? So there's clothing there, other things of that nature, cell phone cases, all those kind of things. If you'd like to participate and getting.
Be right back.
Say again? Oh, please be right back. So, these items. I had a couple of people get mugs and one cell phone cover for the Kringle Society. So anyway, I just want to point out that it is there. That's what it's all about. And if you'd like to get those items, also the wwg1wga.love website is there, so you can join that. I'm going to be trying to bring some people on to help fill out content on that site. So we do have some people that I think would be perfect for helping to fill that out. So how's it going, Alan?
Excellent. Oh my God, it's been a battle. I can't tell you. A loving battle, but a battle nevertheless.
What are you battling?
every single human program that I run into, because they're all programs. Mr. Smith, hello, Matrix. And I'm
Yes.
breaking the program, the Matrix. And I'm sharing
Yeah.
on YouTube. I'm running into people, and I'm meeting people that actually are half awake and some that are more awake by telling them things that they only know about themselves and showing them how the power works. It's like, yeah, if I can tell you about yourself, that's my validation.
I got it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So,
It is truly amazing.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it's you know, a lot of this stuff is so over the top, right? People can't absorb it, so you have to kind of start them off slow. But the people that are partially awake, you can ramp them up faster.
so my rant in your comment section is because I walked into a place that I knew I was going to get resistance, but universe told me go experience it, so I went. And ironically, I ran into a guy who I was resonating with, and he reminded me, because I had forgotten, that I had encountered him over a year ago, and I did a bar napkin reading, and he was still aware of that. Okay, because I can take a bar napkin and tell you what your core being is on a bar napkin. I learned when I was 23 by a drunk man in a bar in the Midwest who saw that I had analytical ability, and he gave me that test, and I tested on every person I met since then. And it worked. It was an icebreaker for me because I was shy at the time. Now I'm not shy. I'm fully awake. And trust me, they had me on 15 psych meds, Dan. 15 psych meds. Who do they put on that shit? 700 milligrams of Wellbutrin, Depakote for seizures. I can't even begin to list the other 13 of them, but they had me on it, and I told them, you're taking me off this after being on it for 5 years. And they said, you can't do that. I said, you don't tell me what I can do. I did this back in AIDS when you guys said, oh, you're going to die. I said, you don't tell me I can die, because I'm more unaware than that. You don't know me, and you're killing all my friends. Trust me, I've been doing this a long time, and they don't want to mess with this. And I sound like ego right now. This is not ego. This is heart passion. So now they're quoting me. Stop using your mind. That's duality. They taught us that when we were children. Evil, like the devil and the angel on your shoulder, that's your mind. Your heart is your real mind. When you start listening to your heart, you don't listen to doubt and self-doubt and all that crap that's in your brain. That's what I'm functioning on. And that's what Tui's talking about.
But what happens when your stomach's telling you something?
I don't have a stomach that I think with. It's my heart.
Okay.
Period.
You ignore
Actually,
your
I've had
stomach.
people quote it. Yes, I do. I ignore my brain too. I'm not inspired to do something unless source tells me to do it. And that's my experience. And I learn from it. And that's how I got where I am. And I'm not rich, but I can manage on what I have. And I tip I love bartenders, okay? I love service people because I've been all those people. And when I go in a bar, I don't have a lot of money, but I recognize those people. And when I tip them, I give them $5 for a fucking beer. Who does that? Sorry, I lost my language. But who does that? Nobody. So they recognize me because I recognize them. And when I come in, they hear what I have to say because they realize, wow, you're not the ordinary weirdo, the normal people. That's my power. And that's my gift, and I'm not going to let anybody shut it down. And ain't no Mr. Smith going to reprogram this. I'm reprogramming Mr. Smith.
So you jump right inside Mr. Smith and then, absorb him and then.
That's what Kana did. Kana Reeves destroyed Mr. Smith, and Mr. Smith figured out he had creative ability, and so he tried to become a human and didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because it's painful.
It's painful.
But he's a program, and he was a rogue program. That's what people don't get. He was a rogue program.
Yeah. And we have a lot of rogue programs going around.
Running around, yeah. And I'm reprogramming them. So, it was my choice to go in there, and I did that. And I went off and I told everybody, there was a whole bar full of people. And I told them, until you see me, you will still be in the place you're at because you don't know what you are, and I'm all of you. So get over it. And I walked out. That's a brave thing to do. I've never done it in 63 years. But I learned how to be me through all of them because when I came out, I didn't know what being out was. I was already out at 10 years old. I didn't know what it was. When I came out, I learned it from all of them. I became all of them to accept the thing I was already comfortable with because I wanted to be accepted. And this is what everybody has done. So stop it. Be yourself. Embrace your own heart and stop letting your mind confuse you and make you have doubt. And embrace the love that Source gives you every day by beating your heart every day, every second.
Yes, be yourself.
And all these programs, they're okay. Nobody has to be mad at anybody because they're programmed. You just step away, but you have to use your heart to tap in. And if they're half awake, you wake them up and use your heart as the evidence of who you are that they can't see because they don't even know themselves, the poor souls.
Well, I think one of the things is being aware of the program. You want to participate in a program, you just be aware that you're participating in a program. So you
and use your heart to participate. Your heart will never, ever, ever denounce you. It will never tell you you're wrong. Your heart is always right. Unless you want to like go with the emoji that has the heart eyes, then you're going to be in trouble. You're going to find somebody who's possessive and jealous and all that nonsense. But when you're going by your heart, I was doing emojis before emojis were emojis as an artist.
Hey, I had my own emoji, right?
I know you did.
From the beginning, I made my own emoji. And it was using.
Did you market it?
No, this is back at DOS
before computers were computers. Yeah, I get it.
Back at the time of DOS, and the first emojis started popping up. The smiley face and that, but it always had the line in them, and it was always the cult.
I love you, Dan.
The line and then the parentheses. So
let me share something.
I went.
DOS.
I went to the letter 8, right? And then the caret, right? And then the right, and so I had the big eyes, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's go back to DOS. Back when before computers were even what they are now, DOS was a black screen, and you could text on it, right? Am I wrong?
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay. Like the early AOL.
Yeah.
The early AOL.
You type in your code. Yeah.
Yeah, and you type and it was on a black screen. You couldn't see anybody because we didn't have pictures at that time. I could feel people through the computer, and I met people that way because I could feel them on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nobody does that. Very few people do.
Yeah, I think it's
different.
evolved in a way. I know what you mean, but I think it's kind of just evolved to a much different level. Now there's pictures. I mean, I communicate a lot with the stickers, the emoji type things, which, carry a lot more than me sitting there and typing for 2 minutes.
It's a whole emotional language.
Yeah,
you can say things with a picture with never uttering a word.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. We're in agreement. Yeah. Yeah. So I just had to have a rant. Thank you for letting me rant. I listen to everything you say, everything Tank says, everything Tui says, and trust me, I'm doing it from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep. Everyone thinks I'm out of my mind. You know what? But no, they're programmed, and I'm waking them. Oh, here's a story. Let me share this with you. Batman. I woke up with this morning. Batman is a 2,500-year-old Mayan god. Look it up.
Okay.
He's made in metal. The Chinese made him out of cherry wood and did an ornate thing on him. He was an actual entity in Brazil. They don't even know their history. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I researched Batman because when I was a kid, my dad I didn't have a mom. I mean, I had a mom. I was born by a mom, but I didn't have a mother like everybody else did. My dad raised me, and he took me into a movie theater. This is one of my earliest memories. I think I was probably 4 years old. It was a cinema, and everything was in black and white. Fortunately, it wasn't in like just words. So it had sound. They'd evolved a little bit. And probably 1958, something like that. Anyway, that terrified me to death. And I was a 3-year-old who actually watched every horror movie they ever created since I was 3. All the sci-fi, I listened to all of it, watched it all, because I had nobody telling me I couldn't. If the child pedophiles had the power they have today, they would have picked me up off the street because I was Dennis the Menace with red hair. with no parent except my dad. And all the movies, Lost in Space, who was Dr. Smith? He was a damn pedophile. Who was the guy that was friends with Dennis the Menace? He was a pedophile, the neighbor.
Interesting.
And the parents were, and who was the father of Dennis the Menace? He was a metrosexual. We used to call them preppies.
Ah.
So the programming goes all the way back to Pinocchio. Pinocchio wanted to be a real boy.
Right.
And they taught us to believe in wishes. And they taught us all this stuff. And Pinocchio, who were the people that corrupted Pinocchio from being a real boy? They were two shadowy fat guys who were pedophiles, who had bullies who were kids that they'd MI13'd and made them go be friends with Pinocchio and turned him into like, here, have this cigarette. Here, play pool, be a tough boy. Here, have alcohol. And what did they do? They took him to the circus, which is the cabal. They took him to the circus, and what happened? They all started turning into what? Donkeys. We're living that reality right now. This is what I tell people, because this gets through.
It's definitely, the programming goes all the way back to that time, right? That was all about Project Mockingbird. Everything they used was the movies to relay these concepts.
They've been looping it. They've been looping it and modifying it. That's all they've been doing, and making people not believe in anything that's real. That's all they've been doing. Yeah. It's the same thing they've been doing for, oh my God, 2,500 years. But anyway, Batman, I went back as far as 2000. What was it? I went back to 1915.
When you say it was, what was it called back then? Was it called Batman?
Batman. Yeah, it was called Batman. The Batman, Bat-Man. Okay. Like his story. Like, you know, all the other stupid stuff they do.
Basic story, you know, it's a kind of a dark hero, right?
Yeah. And he was evil back then. I mean, I was a 4-year-old. I was terrified. And I went back and I've been pulling up this information. I can't find the actual movie I saw, but if you go back to I just out of curiosity, how far does Batman go? He was the Dark Knight back then, 1913. I'm sorry, 1915. And you can look it up. I've been sending it out to people in emails trying to like, hey, look at this. See, they've been looping it. It's the same thing. They just modified it to catch up to reality. So what did they come up with? 1913, he was Dark Knight. And how many years ago did they make him Dark Knight? And he was an Aztec god, for God's sake. They already knew the history of it, and they made it into a movie and made money off it to program people. Hey, here's your hero. You can be the dark guy, the light guy, whatever you choose to be. But they took away our power in the process. We were creative to begin with the day we were born, and our parents already started programming us when we came out. And we didn't like it. We didn't like what our parents said. We wanted to go out and find out for ourselves if the world was really bad or whatever. From experience. That's what we did as children, as teenagers. This is obvious. This is not stuff I'm making up. Anybody listening to me knows what I'm saying. And we need to stop. We have the power to change this reality, and I am not going to be put down by anybody. I will reprogram you before you ever reprogram me. Anyway, I'm done. Okay, go ahead.
Well, we are winning. We've already won this.
We are.
We're just watching it now unfold and blossom. You know, and it's amazing. You know, I'm very excited about the things that are happening. You know,
we all are, Dan, and you had a great part in that. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm just here doing my part, following the path, you know, laid out in front of me. You know, and the thing is, most people don't like to take the steps to go in that direction.
It's difficult. And it takes time, and nobody has any time. I have abundance of time.
I have abundance of patience.
I have that too. However, sometimes I get a little intense.
I was I have an interesting duality to it. I have a lot of
duality.
I know. I have a lot of patience, but I can get frustrated.
And what was the thing you guys told me? No more patience. And I said, just be patient, Dan and Tank. And you said, no more patience. We're done with patience.
I'm out,
Let's see.
pushing in and making it happen and doing things. Even what I was, the meetings I had yesterday, all are going to, be pushing forward. Actually, some things that, now this was all cryptocurrency related. And it's like what I told Tank before is that, I see this as, I understand why the trust doesn't trust the blockchain technologies. I get it. But this is what I've had to work with, right? When all other the banking system as it was removed from me, right? I have a path. Yeah.
Dan, all of that, what you had to work with is the same thing all of us had to work with. We are all doing what we can with what we have. However, some of us are more creative than others, and others are less creative. And that's okay, because you know what? In the long run, the wave has come through, the signal has come through, the frequency is here, and there is no changing it. That's what my point is that stop embracing the old. Okay, I went to a grocery store the other day. I saw a bottle that was shaved off. It was a beer bottle, it was shaved off, and they had succulents in it. See, I see the world differently. That bottle represents to me the old system. The succulents represent humanity because we have been starved and succulents survive. So they're selling it, not knowing the symbolism involved in it, because that's what universe teaches me. I went to a house, they had a turtle in the front yard that was 150 years old. And it was crawling when it came up and said hi to us while it was snipping up the grass in its mouth. I thought, that looks like a snapping turtle. And I thought, how marvelous that someone has it. They had a little bunker in the back where he can go in and come out on his own. And the yard was gated, but he's free. He's not like people treat their pets with muzzles and chains and all this other nonsense and stuff they put on him. He was free and he was happy just to have the front yard to himself.
Yeah, I had a dog. I'd go out with it, and only leash I had it on the dog was a verbal leash. It would do what I said, right?
Of course, you trained it.
I trained it. And people would be upset with me for not having a leash. You have to have a leash. I said, I have a leash. Where? I don't see it.
Judge Judy would put you out of the court if you did that and their dog did something wrong. Trust me, I've watched her. And she's a wonderful person, but you're responsible for your dog. Yeah.
I had a Triton cockatoo, no cage. Right, and it would literally, it would leave the house in the morning, and I trimmed its wings in the beginning, the flight feathers, right? So
it can't fly away. Got it.
Yeah. It could fly down, but
it couldn't take off.
It couldn't take off. But then it used to actually started trimming its own flight feathers. I didn't have to do it anymore.
It learned from you.
And then it would leave the house. It literally go out the window, crawl up the side of the house, go on the roof, go in the trees, and in the evening come back down and come in the house. Right?
Dan, I had two. When I was a kid, my mother was American Kennel Association. My dad worked on Plum Island. Imagine that. He was a foster dad. They shot cows because they didn't want them to get off the island. So trust me, I know.
I don't know what Plum Island is.
Plum Island is where they used to do the mad cow disease experiments. It's in New York, and it's part of a program. But my dad was the supervisor. That you had to do all the suits to go in so you didn't carry the disease off the island. Trust me, I know, okay? And I didn't even know what the cabal was at the time, but I grew up in this. And we had 250 pedigreed dogs. I built kennels for them. I had no experience. One would bark, they'd all bark. And I've also had cats. Cats are the most intelligible creatures on the planet besides dolphins and elephants and hippos and God knows what else. But my point is that people think cats they're too independent, and so they don't want to bother with them. I would clip my cats as a kitten, my cat's nails as a kitten. I have never had a cat destroy anything I had because I, like you did with the wings on the bird, I trained them at a very young age to be respectful and taught them how to be respectful. I let them out during the day because I realized, oh my God, I don't even need the cat box. I can just let them go out and then whistle and bring them back. So why spend money on stuff they tell me I need when I can just let the cats be who they are and nobody gets hurt, And I go, shh, and they come running to me at home. And, it's like, people don't get this. They don't get that they're sentient beings just like you are. And this is what we have to learn. This is what's coming right now. It's unfolding before our very eyes. And I'm passionate about it because I know what it means. That's why Tui can feel me in Fiji. He gets me. And I get him. And I get you. And I get Tank. And I get everybody that's in the chat room because I can feel them before they even open their mind, what they're going to say. That's my gift as an artist. That's what artists are about. They were the ones who... Say?
What am I going to say?
No, I'm not psychic. I don't want that responsibility. I was psychic and I chose not to be it because I was drawing too many dark people to my world. So I shut it off. But after all 15 sight meds, I've gotten back there a little bit. Empathic.
I'm psychic. I've had complete visions that unfolded. Not many of them, but when they happened, they were very pertinent to the situation at the time. And required like to pop in.
I would have used the word vivid. I would have used the word vivid, but pertinent's the same thing.
Well, they were very vivid, but they were pertinent to the situation at the time. They literally needed to be, to direct what I needed to take action in a way, and I only would have taken that action because I had the vision. Right?
That's perfect.
And so. And my mother is very psychic, but she never handled it too well. She's overwhelmed by it. Can't manage it.
It's a lot to deal with. It brings in a lot of energy you don't really want to deal with.
Right. And
I know.
She has problems with that. But I've also, at a very young age, I experimented with telekinesis. I experimented with telepathy. I actually, when I was a very young kid, literally talked with a lot of people telepathically, and was always surprised that they were not communicating with me.
Right. I could literally go on a dance floor and move a whole dance floor to the other side of the floor, and nobody would even know that happened. But while I was dancing with my partner, I told her it was going to happen, and she saw it, and she said, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" And I knew how much power I had. I just didn't want to use it. Now over the years, they've compromised me by the medicines and stuff, and I've taken it back, and now I'm back to myself. My psych is amazing. He's one of the best psychiatrists I've ever encountered in all my years. And he doesn't get how I can deal with conspiracy and how I can be such a rational mind with all the trauma that I've had in my life. But now I took in our conversation that we had when you first met me that was recorded on YouTube, and I shared it with him. It took 10 minutes. He actually allowed the time, and he was like, "Who are you, Deepak Chopra?" I said, "I'm Deepak Chopra and 10 Joseph Campbells." Joseph Campbell spent 50 years of his life teaching people what I know instinctively, but that's me. And now he gets it. He's like, "Wow, I didn't realize that was one of the most beautiful speeches I've ever heard." He's getting it, so I affect everybody. There's nobody that I share everything I know from my heart and my life experience with every single individual, no matter what color, no matter what breed, no matter what path of life. It doesn't matter. If you're an alcoholic, I will shake your hand. If you're a homeless person, I will shake your hand and give you a hug. And they'll ask me for a hug, and I'll give you whatever I have just to make you happy and make you realize how valuable you are, because nobody sees them. That's what Jesus did.
Amen. And
people, and I have friends that I say, oh my God, I have to share this with you. This is so funny. I have a friend I've known for years. I've known her sister for 18 years. They're Black. They're beautiful people. They call me their sister. Imagine that. They call me, a white guy, their sister. And I say, well, I slap this white, the Black will just show up and the white will fall off. People love that. Anyway, so I was having her listen to Tui talking about Fiji and sovereignty. It's just, I'm not listening to somebody who's American. Oh my God, he's a Fijian. He doesn't, what does he know about being American? And my God is up here. And she used her thumb to point above her head. I said, no, honey. I said, your God is in your heart. He's never been anywhere but there. This is the kind of people I deal with every day, Dan. I share your frustration, but you know what? I get through.
I didn't say what I was frustrated about.
Huh?
I never said what I was frustrated about.
I know.
I'm very patient, and I do get frustrated. But what frustrates me is the people that want to engage and do something and participate with me on something, they're let's say that I've laid out what is necessary for us to move forward. Like I have a project or something, and I'll listen to what they say, what they want to do, and I say, well, okay, but that's not working for what we want to do. This is what I've laid out, and we have to do this. So you can participate with me over here.
They'll be a team player.
Right. So but then they will agree, and then they don't
actually do the opposite. Exactly. Yeah.
Do the opposite. So that destructive aspect of what that actually gets frustration for me. I don't have patience for that.
Dan.
So
I was a visual merchandiser for Jones Store, which is now Robinson May, now Macy's. Okay. I took product in the corporate world and made visuals to sell it. So you can see the intellect. Okay. I made millions of dollars for cosmetics while I was telling them about Enki and Anu in 1980. And they had no idea what I was talking about, but they loved the stories. And I said, this is 200,000 years old. This is a story. And nobody knows what it means. And then they made YouTube channels. Imagine the frustration I've had over the years. And then I almost killed myself, Dan, because of the medication they put me on. I had an interreaction to it. And Source intervened. It said, no, you're not dying today. Do this. You're in your sleep. You don't realize you're conscious, but I'm going to cover you. And made me call somebody. And I don't even remember doing it. It was the medicine. And I never sued anybody. I didn't care. I went with it and I became me now. So it's like, this is the power we have. And it's not for everybody, because I mean, everybody has reactions and different things. Everybody's different. You have to know within yourself what you can and cannot do. I don't condone doing anything the way I did my life. My life was for me, and I did it my way, as Frank Sinatra would say, because that was me. And it worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody. I mean, not everybody can quit smoking in 30 days. I can. I understand the psychology behind it. It takes 30 days to break a habit. I've heard you mention it yourself, and that's the truth. It's a science. It's a fact. But people want to have a patch, or they want to have this or that. No, you can't do anything until you make the decision to do it. The Chinese told us that thousands of years ago. The minute you make a decision, it's yours to be. If you want to vacillate, you will never have a decision, and you will never succeed.
Yeah, you unmake your reality as fast as you make it. So be consistent and just move forward. So I'm going to wind this down now because we've got about 15 minutes before Dank Live comes on.
Namaste. Thank you for your time. I love you, Dan. I love Kim. I love Tui. I love everybody in the chat room. I love you all. Namaste.
Namaste.